I believe we are live.
Okay.
Music. Hello, everybody. We're going to let a little music play, and then we're going to have Oscar L. Blue joining us. And believe me, this one's going to be a doozy. Welcome to our Facebook Live. We're probably going to premiere this on our YouTube channel later tonight. You don't want to miss this one. You got to join us. You got to tell people what's going on. Share. Get those numbers up. Fasten your seatbelt, Dorothy. We're not in Kansas anymore.
Welcome, everyone, to A Mexican Crossing Lines with your hosts, Cindy Gomez-Schempp.
And Duke Gomez-Schempp.
You're listening to 88.1 FM KPPPLP Fargo Moorhead, where we are adding local color to your airwaves. This is the event that you have all been waiting for. The much anticipated interview with Oscar El Blue Ramirez, finally breaking the silence. On my last show, I titled it Online Hate. I went through a series of audios as well as text messages connected to one of the people that has been cyberbullying, harassing, and stalking in real life, not just online, a multitude of people, a long list of people, many of whom have courageously come forward on my show to share their experiences and to educate the public, to let people know what is really happening. And tonight, I have Oscar El Blue Ramirez with me to do just that. Welcome to the show, Oscar. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Cindy. Thank you so much, Duke. God bless you guys. First of all, before I start, I want to thank you guys for all the investigative reporting, not only regarding this subject of cyberbullying that you guys are doing, But the extenuate investigative reporting that you guys have been doing over activists, liberal activists in our country, and how these people are trafficking a lot of children and a lot of people, that is the main subject that we started working together. I want to thank you so much for doing a great job and for exposing all of this, and regarding this subject right now. God bless you guys. Thank you so much.
And you as well, Oscar. I had the great privilege and honor of getting to know Oscar in person along with Duke when we traveled to Tijuana to do some reporting. And I have firsthand knowledge of what it's like to collaborate with Oscar. And I'm honestly very grateful that there is a local person in Tijuana that is reporting on the activists, on the Antifa, on all of the child kidnapping, everything that we have been reporting here on Mexican Crossing Lines in conjunction with Oscar. But also I wanted to say that it has been truly fascinating for me because our relationship is one of work and has been one of work. And I had Anthony on from Border Network News, and he shared his story, his experiences with Paloma Zúñiga. But also, I recently had the chance to kind of go over what really happened with you, and I've learned so much I didn't know. So I want to congratulate you for finally coming forward and setting the record straight on what actually took place.
Yes, it's as I was telling you, it's not for us to come out. It took us a long time. For me, it took me longer than Anthony. It started with me, the so-called attacks and the so-called harassment that is really harassment and bullying, cyberbullying. It started with me before BNN at a page that is called Abusados, and now it blew out of proportion. And for me, to be honest with everybody right now, it's not like I was telling you, Cindy, with this particular individual by the name of Paloma Zúñiga, is not a case of anger. I don't hold any anger against this individual, but it's 100% disappointment. More than that, is complete disappointment. Un malo sabor de boca, como se dice, Cindy, in Spanish. And, I take what I receive, and what I receive, I treat the person with the same respect that they're treating me. And it's been horrible. The treatment has been embarrassing. How can a person can lower her standard to that level? And one of the reasons why I stopped and I never responded, or I never opened myself up, is because this person has a husband, and I was waiting for this particular individual as a man to step up to the plate and say to his women, you know what, I believe that it's time for you to just call it a night, don't say anything anymore, and let's just keep on focusing on work. But time kept going and going and going. The harassment kept coming, and her demonic ideas in conjunction with working with third parties that they know who they are, and I will be saying their names today. It became a horrible experience for me working on social media. I have always worked at a radio station, Cindy. I never knew what working at Facebook, working for social media was about. And now I know. And now I know how to manage myself, understanding, towards learning the hard way with this individual. And it's really happening, Cindy. Cyberbullying, for everybody that is suffering cyberbullying, we are coming out not to attack somebody. But the reason I came out, as you guys know, I am all for work. I am all for giving the news, and I am, always dedicated to my craft. But for everybody that is watching, and you guys are suffering cyberbullying by this particular monster, an individual, come out and be courageous and come out and say it. We're doing this because of you, and now we're doing it because of me. Really, these attacks don't concern me at all. And she knows, and her husband knows, that this is nothing for me. But it's more for you guys to understand that you guys can be courageous. You guys can have, that courage to come out and say something about it.
Now, I'm going to walk through some of your history for those of you out there who don't know Oscar El Blue Ramirez and his history. As he just mentioned, he has done radio before. In fact, here is a banner from Radio VIP Tijuana. And it says right there, con Oscar El Blue. So how long ago did you start in radio, Oscar?
That was my first, I lasted a long time with that radio show. It was called Tijuana Fight Club. And, I was a boxing broadcaster. So, and entirely, it was all about boxing and sports. And I started particularly broadcasting around 2012, 2013, entirely now dedicated to my career.
And you studied communications, correct?
Yes. I stopped my school. I stopped in 2008. Then, the biggest mistake that I ever made in my life happened, and I retook and I finished college in 2013.
Okay. So here is a picture of Oscar, a younger Oscar, in studio. There he is in the studio doing some radio work. But as you also mentioned, sports. You weren't just a sports announcer. You are also a boxer. And if you'd like to, I want to give people a little bit of background. You're a jack of all trades. You've got a lot of different things that you have continued to do all at the same time. I mean, I still love watching you go into the gym and spar and practice. Can you talk a little bit about your boxing career?
Yes. I started boxing when I was young. I was real young, 13, 14, 15 years old. The reason why I was born and raised in a rough neighborhood. So, getting into a lot of trouble, my dad told me, you know what, let me get you into a boxing ring before you get into more trouble. And it helped me a lot to release a lot of stress. Now, when my career took off, I left it alone. I became more dedicated to my studies. And now one uncle of mine passed away of stomach cancer. And I started doing fights to help people with cancer. My whole thing to do this in Tijuana, it was not for me to just help the kids with cancer and people and women with breast cancer. It was to send a message to all the community of boxing in Tijuana that not only is the glory of going out there and win and the people screaming, because it's an adrenaline that if the people that have been in the ring, they know what it is. And I've been in the ring and I know how it is to be hit, to be cut, to be fighting. It's a huge adrenaline. It's beautiful for me. And, it was not only that, it's to give back to the community. It was to help. And thanks to that kind of stuff, a lot of world champions started doing it in Tijuana. One of them was with me in my show was Kenny Enriquez. She's a world champion. Jaime Munguia, he is not a world champion. Panterita Neri is a good friend of mine. He's a world champion, flyweight world champion. Ivan Morales, son, brother of Eric El Terrible Morales, a legend over here, four-time world champion and Hall of Fame. He started doing it. And a lot of people started doing it, and that was my whole thing. To give back to the community, always help, and to help the people with cancer. So, that was one of my I think that, I had a debt with God, and we have an agreement mutually. And I said to him after my mistake, I will show you that I am a good individual and I can be a good individual in society. And I have tried to do that.
Now we're going to get you to talk about that big mistake that kind of set you on a path of redemption, a path of change, a debt with God, as you called it. But first, I want to show folks your boxing posters, or a couple of them. This one is for fighting cancer. And, you know, it's a very interesting story of how you kind of led by example and got boxers to do more than just, you know, get in the ring for the adrenaline, as you put it. And here's another one where you were doing raising money for children with cancer, to fight childhood cancer. So
Yes.
you wanted to use your gift to give back to the community. It seems to be a theme with you. But I wanted to address some issue. And by the way, I think that of the horrible accusations, the many smears, the many lies that have been said about you, the attacks on you personally, on your partner, on BNN, and in fact, the threats that have been made on your life.
Yes.
All of these things, they merit some kind of response, which is why you're doing this interview today. But a lot of those things don't merit an explanation because they're simply complete fabrications, total lies. One of the things, though, that I know that you wanted to address was work, because you've been accused of basically doing what you do as a reporter and fighting the fight that you do in Mexico for your country and for your people, that it's all for money. But you actually went and studied a career to do environmental assessments, did you not?
Yes. I'm an auditor for the environment for 4 different contaminants, chemical contaminants. I went and did 2 courses in the city of Mexico, and I graduated from those 2 courses. One of them was in 2012, the other one was in 2014. The entity of accreditation of Mexico. And what I do is I audit companies as gas stations, as Pemex, and those accreditations I can go to whole Latin America. That's why sometimes I work on my laptop. There's companies that they hold carbon monoxide, bioxide, carbon dioxide, hydrocarbons, all these contaminants that they
Emissions.
pollute. Yes, all of this. I do audits and
Mm-hmm.
I do examinations and I do statistics about how they contaminate the atmosphere or vehicles. Certain companies like Toyota, Hyundai, all
Mm-hmm.
these companies, they need an audit guy so they can say, oh, the car is good in hydrocarbons and carbon monoxide. It's not contaminated. We got a good engine. So I'm that guy.
You're that guy. So
Yes.
you do have a job. Let me show folks your diploma. Here's one of them. This is one of the diplomas that you've received in your training to do these audits, environmental assessments on emissions that you have received, that you went to Mexico City to train for. Here's the second certification that you received.
Yes, that was in 2014.
And he's holding it up very proudly for the job that you do, which is environmental emissions assessments, audits for companies, private businesses, factories.
Yes.
And another one of the lies, I guess, that has been said about you, that I think that you have always wanted to clear up, that you've always wanted to make very clear, is that you were not working illegally in the United States, that you were not there as a mojado, that you actually had a green card, that you were actually living there. So to that end, I want to show your California driver's license real quickly here. You did have one. I've
Yes.
redacted a lot of your personal information, but you can see Oscar F. Ramirez Delgado. Same name that's on those diplomas, by the way. The same name that you're going to be seeing throughout. And I think that it's important also to address the point of your identity and your name. Here's the green card, front, and check the name again. You see, same thing. Resident since '06. The card says here, right on the green card, it didn't expire until January of 2019, until just last month, this permanent resident card. Here's the back of it. Here's the back of that card. So, having heard some of the accusations that said that you were working in the United States illegally, your response to all of these allegations that you were involved in some kind of a gang, or that you had some other charges besides the horrible mistake that you're going to talk about in a minute, none of it is true, correct?
None of it. And this woman by the name of Paloma has unfortunately has said that I was working with a visa, a tourist visa, and and it all the lies by other third parties such as Sandra Wood, such as J.E. Park. These two third parties, monsters they are. They have created all these lies about me, that I was in a gang, that I have charges on hitting women, that I've been doing this trafficking of drugs for years and years and years, that I should be held accountable for thousands of dinosaur years to come. And a lot of accusations that they have been using, that I've been using identities by a guy and nicknames in Las Vegas, and another guy over here in Texas, and another guy over here and over there, and really insulted me racially. Really, this woman, obsessed woman, crazy obsessed woman by the name of Sandra Wood, that she thinks that I owe her an apology. My God, this woman is an absolute nutcase, really. She completely being obsessed with me day in and day out, posting without stopping, and saying that I drag her name to the mud, and I don't care about whoever she is. She's irrelevant to my life as long and as the other person, J.E. Park, that she or he or I don't know got mad, and this was the thing that it was Anthony was saying to me. These third parties that work with Paloma got mad with the page. There was a group that it was I was going to get out of Abusados because Moro and Moro went to a radio station, and I stayed doing my thing. And Moro said, you know what? I think that I'm not going to have any time, brother. So I think it's time to call it a night. I said, you're good. Let's just everybody go there each way. And after that, J.E. Park, started, conversating and say, you know what, I'll make you a group. And that way, that group, it will be better for you, and we can know who comes in and who comes out. Mm-hmm. So me being so blindly and so, young, and in terms of social media and all these pages, I said, okay, it was her and some other individual that I don't want to say her name because that was a wonderful person. But this individual monster, J.E. Park, after that, Anthony called me late at night, and he's like, bro, what are you doing? Why are you making a group page? You should make a public figure page. And I said, I don't know how to do those. He's like, I really don't know social media, brother. You need to teach me. He's like, oh, you know what? Tomorrow you'll have it. Don't worry about it. So I wake up in the morning, And I wake up and there's a text message from him. I wake up at 5:30 to go to work. And there he is. He says, hey, there's your page. It said that you're an admin, la, la, la. So I'm like, okay, all right. So I got my page now. And immediately, an hour later, this profile by J.G. Park starts messaging me and saying, you're a traitor. You're disgusting. You have betrayed me.
What?
And yes, they started saying that
betray. How can you? For what reason?
It's unbelievable. They're really. Now that it's a year from now, I understand their pattern, and I understand what they're trying to do. Is control the people that they have really valuable information against all these liberals, anarchists, and all these people that they are against conservatives or they are against, the fight against socialism or liberalism. And these individuals are those that they are mad because we exposed the hell out of them. Mm-hmm. And when I confronted activists, man, they got mad. So this profile started sending me text messages after text message saying that I betrayed her and that I didn't have no right to insult her that way, when the group was only like probably 400 people. And then after that, my God, with her, the attack started. It was a nonstop. It was, you were telling me that you wanted to be with me, you wanted to marry me, you wanted to do all these things with me, and now you lie to me, and, all these creations, exactly the same way that Sandra Wood started happening. Sandra Wood was another situation, but Sandra Wood was more. It's it's kind of double personality. All of them relate to each other, Cindy. They're kind of like exactly the same. They have different personalities. One day they're good, the other day they will attack you.
No.
One day, they're nice, and in a few moments they'll attack you.
Now, I have to pause here because we are educating the public, so I need to point out the similarities in patterns, okay? Pay attention, folks.
Yes.
Pay attention, folks, because I recently did a show about a person, another third party affiliated with Paloma, who is also a cyberbully and stalker and harasser, who has a permanent restraining order with criminal harassment. And this person, as I shared from the audio of their podcast on my show, Giovanni Valle, otherwise known as Jovi Val, claimed that in court, claimed that he had a sexual relationship to the person that was being stalked and harassed, Fabiana Baldo. He said that. He claimed a relationship to his victim that never, ever existed. Does this feel familiar to you, Oscar? All of these different people claiming to have a relationship with you on a much grander scale than ever occurred?
Yeah, that's what they try to. Now I understand what is their whole method. Mm-hmm. They act real nice and they start, bragging about all this stuff, and they get through you, and they have control of you. And when you don't want to be controlled by them, they already have, the excuse to be saying, you know what, you betrayed me, you offended me, you were oppressing me, you were harassing me, you are the one that is accusing me, you are the one that is attacking me, I didn't do anything bad, I am the victim, I have always been suffering. That is their game. That is their game. And after I started, analyzing each and one of them, I started saying, these are people that they're crazy. Really, they are. I need to stay away from these people.
Right.
And, it was a hate page created that it was named Abusado con los Abusadores. And immediately, all the people that they were trolling me, all the time, they were on that page. And the only purpose on that page was to talk really bad about me, to continually harass me, to continually stalk me, to continually be obsessed with me, to insult me, to send, different fake profiles and say, you're going to die. I'm going to kill your kid. I see you when you get out of your house. I got your license plate. I'm going to be there when you are at. I already got somebody that is going to pick you up. All these threats continuously happening. I'm not worried about that, but the most it's exhausting. It gets to the point that you're like, what the hell's going on with these individuals, really? And particularly this individual by Sandra Wood, that, it's really curious how this individual started. She started hating Paloma. She was, my God, whoo! It was, a complete fight. I don't know if it was a made-up story or if it was an infiltrated person that it was, working towards her, because now all of the puzzles come together. You know what I mean? All of them got together and let's high five and let's attack Oscar. Like, it's a really nice game. And now this individual before used to make videos, accusations. He's so uneducated. He's Mexican. Why is he talking to the American public? He doesn't deserve to speak English. He is a criminal. He is a con. He doesn't deserve a second chance in life. He owes America a lot. He is a criminal. He's a gangster. He has raped women. He has been, sending videos to children as pedophilia. He has done such horrible things. And I have all the evidence of that. All the evidence of that. And I have never responded back because I always maintain my mentality that one great journalist over here told me there was one particular day, I remember, Cindy, I started doing Spanish only.
Yep.
It was only Spanish. And one day there was a lawyer from the ACLU at a shelter. And
I remember that day.
Yeah, and I spoke to the lawyer in English. And immediately I remember this person that continually started, saying on the feed, you speak English, you speak English, you speak English. And I'm not going to say her last name, but it's Miss Judy, a wonderful follower. And I said, yes, I'm kind of, I can defend myself.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, you know what? Can you do a live feed in English? I was like, no, I don't want to do it. And she's like, why not? I don't want to get in the binational, mess right there. Mexican people are going to get offended. Oh, he's doing English now, and la la la. So, I said, one day I said, hell with it. I'll do it. And the first video that I did, my God, Cindy, oh my God, it was like a bombshell of attacks. It was horrible. It was horrible. Racist slurs all over the feed.
Wow.
All over the feed. Wetback, everything. Beaner, everything that you can even imagine. It was right there. And I was really disappointed. I was like, what the hell? I don't even get that in the Mexican feed. What's going on with the American feed? I was really disappointed. So I gave up. I said to the American feed, I'm not going to do no making English videos anymore. So I bet, all these trolls were like, yay, we got it, we did it. And, in the night, I was talking to a big journalist over here. And he told me, you know what? That's what they want, Oscar. You have an ability to speak in 2 languages. If I had that ability, believe me, I will be on it. So don't give up. Keep doing it and keep whooping them.
Yeah.
Like they never have been whooped before.
Yeah, exactly.
And
so I just want to reiterate that what you were feeling was that they wanted to discourage you. They really wanted to discourage you from doing lives in English, from addressing the American audience. That was one of the things that they were trying to prevent. And also, the people involved in these, Jahi Park, Sandra Wood, these other people that were cohorts, if you will, of Paloma, they wanted your content. They wanted you to be managed inside of this group by them, where you had
Yes.
no control.
Yes. You know, thank God that I met Anthony. One day, there were a lot of people, like Anthony was saying, you need to talk to Anthony in El Paso. And I was the one that contacted Anthony. I always try to contact the people that I know that they will be an asset to the fight against socialism, open border mafia, all of it. So for me to contact Anthony, I needed to check out who's this guy. So I started watching him for like a week. Started watching him for like a week. I'm like, okay, this guy goes in there, boots on the ground.
Yep.
I like it. That's my game. I like it. So I called him. I sent him a message. Hey, man, you're doing a great work over there. Can we talk? He said yes. And so we started talking. We started doing videos together. A WhatsApp camera right here, and
I remember those days.
Yeah, him holding a phone, and we started, ranting about what's going on, and he started doing his thing also. So that ultimately led to create later on, probably a week later on, BNN, Border Network News. That Border Network News was created because of my partner, Anthony. He said, Border Network News. And, we created Border Network News. And, after that, my God, and it was a rain of attacks.
Yeah.
You don't even imagine. It was like he's getting together with somebody else. We need to stop him. Like, we need to get in there and stop him. Like, we need to do something.
Did it feel like there was it sounds to me like these people wanted to possess you, like physically have your control over your body, have control over your mouth, have control over your work, have control over who you were collaborating with, where you speak, and everything about your life.
Yes, everything. They wanted to know, and they knew everything about me. They knew everything. And the thing was that, like you have seen me, Cindy, I'm a guy that I'm not afraid of any activist. Really, I'm not. I always go in there alone. And and a lot of people have said, like, hey, how do you get this information? Because that was one of the accusations, that I'm an open border mafia guy. Look at that. Sandra Wood said one time, he's open borders. He wants to unite Mexico with the United States. We don't need a third world country. That is horrible. So that's not my whole point. My whole point was to get two countries together to do things right in terms of migration, to support one each other.
Mm-hmm.
And and the situation right here was that a lot of these accusations were because I was at the right moment at the right time. And just to be clear with everybody and be transparent with everybody, I have a lot of family members that work in the ministerial police and the municipal police and in the power of justice office over here. Everybody thought in my family that I was going to be a ministerial police officer when I was young, because a lot of the family members that I got, Cindy, are ministerial police. Mm-hmm. So I didn't like that. I like communication. So that's, I was the black apple in the whole, tree. So yeah, I was the whole different one. So, so that's how I get, my information. They call me like, hey, cousin, you like the migrant situation. There's a situation going on right there. So I, go over it. And they started speculating really bad about me, that I was helping them. Why is he showing open gates? Why is he showing, all the spots that they are trafficking children, and all the spots that they are using them to smuggle? They were complaining about it. It's funny, because the number one thing that you want to know as an audience, and the number one thing that you want to know as a public, is all those spots.
Right.
And they were complaining about them. How does he know? Is he running people through there? Is he smuggling people through there? I was like, God, man.
Well, a lot of what these folks were doing was projection, and we've seen that time and time and time again with Paloma. This projection, but
yes.
because I have shown her connection to drug traffickers and drug smugglers and weapons smugglers and people that and human smugglers, um, and her connections to the activists. And yet there was a lot of that kind of criticism. I don't think in earnest, uh, but simply to try to detract people from following you, to delegitimize you, to get people to start feeling like you weren't a trustworthy source. In fact, they even said, with all of the work that you were doing, this person, Paloma, propagated the idea, and I still think she does it till this day, that you are taking the donation money that people give so generously to support your hard work, and that you were lying about what you needed it for when you said that you needed new equipment, a new phone, or that your cell phone costs were exorbitant. In fact, Paloma made the gesture that in Mexico it's very, very cheap, and that she has many, many phones. So of course you must be lying. What exactly was going on with your phone situation? Because you do use your phone a lot.
Yes, unfortunately for Paloma, she uses the cheap and tacky, payments of OXXO, right? The ones that you pay 50 pesos, 100 pesos, and they will give you only free Facebook. But she doesn't use, social media as for information, regarding information. I navigate through all, sources to get my information so I can speak. I don't talk dumb. I research, I read, and then when I research and read, like a journalist, reporter, or whatever you want to call it does, I speak. And sometimes when I'm out in the field, I don't have that, data. So my contract is with Telcel. Telcel is like an AT&T over here, is like a Verizon over here.
Mm-hmm.
And it has a certain limited of megabytes.
Right.
If you overpass those megabytes, they start charging you kind of expensive.
Uh-huh.
So it started happening to me.
I'm going to show on the screen while you talk about this, one of the messages from your phone telling you that you have used up all your megabytes on your plan, and to continue to use it, you're going to have to add more megas to your Telcel.
Yeah, it was one of the things that when I was working at the government of state doing audits for the government of state, Kiko Vega, the governor, stole a lot of money, and they left us without a job. So I started saying, you know what, let me see if, started talking to moderators. God bless them all. The ones they were before, God bless you guys. The ones that they are now, bless all our moderators and my manager. God bless you. You guys are wonderful. Thank you so much. Outstanding job. I don't have nothing to say. And the ones that they were before, the two ladies that they were before, God bless you also. Send a big hug. And they were telling me, Oscar, we have a possibility of you before, I got all the payments, and, you got to take care of the car, and, and I got to take care of my son and, myself. And it was a lot. And I started doing it, and I started posting the PayPal. But one of the reasons why I started posting the PayPal was because I was over exceeding the limit of the phone. Sometimes I had a bill of 6,000 pesos, that is up to $300. And it was impossible for me to pay. Sometimes I had like $200. Sometimes I had 180. Sometimes I had, payments that they were really out there. And, and that's why I was posting, the PayPal. Hey, you guys want me to continue to report? I'm over exceeding the limit of megas. Mm-hmm. It will be a greater help if you guys can, donate or contribute to my work. All these people, they started taking this out of proportion. The Sandra Woods, the J.G. Parks, the Palomas. Started, he's begging for donations. He's begging for donations. Tell me one freelancer. I want to ask this question if the audience is watching. Tell me one freelancer, and this is ridiculous, Cindy, because I'm in Mexico. Why don't they attack all other people? Why me? Why me that I'm particularly in Tijuana with Paloma? Why? There's a reason why, and there's really obvious reason. There's a really obvious reason why. But, you know, it is illogical that every freelancer and every reporter, they post their PayPal, every single one of them. And they say, if you like to support me, they're not saying, I'm going to turn off the phone because nobody's supporting me. No. They say, you know, if you like to support me, and if you like to contribute, there is my PayPal. Even the message that I put on my page, it says like that. It is just, and they started taking that out of proportion. And it was because, you know, I had all these overlapses with the megas, and I had really strong bills. I sent you a couple.
I want to show some of them so that you can get a sampling of some of these phone bills. Here's one for 4,013 pesos. What is that in dollars, Duke?
200.
200 and some dollars?
Yep.
Here's one for 2,657 pesos. And here's another one for nearly 2,000 pesos. And another one for 4,000. And another one for 3,600. And another one for 6,100. And finally, this last one for another 3,000. Quite a set of bills there. Why was it important for you to show folks? Why is it important for you to show folks your cell bills and your data usage?
Because Paloma es una mentirosa. She's a liar. Paloma is a liar. Just plain and simple. And I have stayed quiet for a long time, trying to figure it out. Is Jean going to step up to the plate like a man and control her woman? Really, that's the last time that I made a live feed, a friendly live feed, inviting her on the live feed. And I even told her, you want to sit down in a coffee shop? You want to go somewhere and talk? We could go somewhere and talk. But I was waiting for Jean to step up to the plate. All this year of attacks and all this year of harassment, I've been waiting for you, buddy, to just, you know, do something to your woman and say, you know what, cool down. But it hasn't happened. It hasn't happened. And that makes me think, and ultimately it makes me understand that Jean, as I saw, and as I know, he's part of it. He's part of this sickness. He's part of this disease that the both of them have. He's part of all this, you know, craziness that they like. It's adrenaline. It's something that runs through their veins. You know, let us contaminate over here. Now we destroyed it. Let us contaminate over there. Now we destroyed it. Let me contaminate everybody. I'm the one that's supposed to shine. That is, you know, their strategy. That is how they work. And
exactly.
It's just saddening, you know.
Well,
and
we've seen that over and over again with his involvement in all of the harassment and even the retaliatory restraining orders that she has taken out against so many different people. Jean has always been involved.
Yes. You know, and the problem here is that the problem here is, you know, the donations they started. One of the things, the donations. We planned a trip. That was the thing that hurt her really bad. We planned a trip to go to Tapachula, and we asked for a certain amount. And then Anthony announced his candidacy to run for, you know, congressional candidate. So we were, you know, debating what we're going to do. You know, you have to be over here, I have to be over there. And they started demanding, you know, the attacks started coming. So I said, you know what, I will go. I will go alone, you know, and I have gone 3 times now. 3 times. I have showed the people that I have gone 3 times. First time alone, second time with Ben Berquam, and third time with Anthony. Now we just came back. Ben Berquam, Anthony, and myself. The three of us went over there. And a really curious thing right here is that she was asking for donations not too long ago to support her to go on a trip to Tapachula. And like you are saying every time and blasting my name all over the place, Paloma, I want to know, when are you going to go to Tapachula?
The shoe's on the other foot. Now, a lot of people who are watching, that are listening because they've been waiting to know what happened between you and Paloma. Obviously, the rumors abound, and you're here to break the silence and finally tell the world what occurred. There was a time during the beginning of your meeting Paloma when she and Ben and Anthony and you were all together, where people made confessions and talked about some of the most difficult things that have occurred to them in their life. And I know that it's, their stories to tell, whoever was there to tell their stories. So you don't have to talk about anything that Ben or Anthony may have said, but I wanted you to tell everyone. I know you've already talked about this a long time ago. You've told everyone about the biggest mistake that happened in your life, but I wanted you to please tell people what you confessed to Paloma and Anthony and Ben, and what did she say back to you? What did she confess to you? So let's start with your confession.
It's not easy to talk about that, but I'll be transparent, because it's not a thing that I feel proud of, not even for one moment. And I owe the United States, a lot, for what I tried to do. So we got all the four of us together. We went to Tecate, the wall. And after that, we said, hey, you know what? After a long day of work, we said, hey, we need to go and get something to eat. The four of us plus Gene. And we went to Pampas, right? We went to Pampas. It's a Brazilian restaurant, a meat restaurant over here. I went to the bathroom with Anthony, and I came out, and this is the way that happened. Paloma said, so, Blue, you never told us the reason why you can't cross. So I told her, why you want to know? And I made myself a little bit uncomfortable, and I looked at Anthony because he was the only one that they knew. But in a particular point in my life, I respected Paloma. Not only as, a person that I thought that had a strong voice. I was in the other side of the cloud. Mm-hmm. But I respected her because, as a friend, mm-hmm. We were friends. And I had a certain appreciation for her as friends. And I said, I believe that this is the time. I looked at Anthony and I told him in Spanish, I believe that is the time, for us to be open. And I said, back in 2008, out of an act of desperation, and I was really immature, I could be, working. Everybody's right when they say he would have, worked at Walmart, pushed cars at McDonald's, work at Target, whatever it is. You guys are right. But I was really immature at the time, and it sounded really easy for me. So I contact, somebody that knows somebody, and I try to cross something illegally to the United States, and I got busted. So she opened her eyes like this, and she looked at me and like, what kind of things you cross? And I said, that's none of your business. Just, that's what I try to do. Mm-hmm. And, I got busted. I served 4 years in the federal system.
Mm-hmm.
I was all around the United States. And then they deported me through Matamoros.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first conversation that we had. That was the first one. We were basically, all sitting down. We came out of the restaurant. She hugged me. She said, hey, don't worry. We are going to get you back. Don't worry. We can, start signing petitions. And, I got a lot of audience. Ben's got a lot of audience. Anthony has a lot of audience. We're going to get you back, Blue. And I trusted her. At that particular moment, I trusted her. And I said, you know what? This is about the time that I will, I'm always dando y dando. You know what I mean? You give,
Quid
I
pro
will
quo.
give.
Yeah.
You give, I'll give.
Mm-hmm.
So there was another reunion,
Mm-hmm.
and we were sitting down at this trailer park that I invited everybody, that I paid. And we were sitting down alone, and I said, hey, I brought you this coffee because I want you to taste this coffee. It's really good. And I brought you this chilaquiles. I ordered you some chilaquiles. She said, like, oh, thank you. So we were sitting down, and there's a particular photo that she has in her Instagram. That is when it happened.
Right.
That she took at me with a hat.
Uh-huh.
And that was the conversation when it happened. Okay. So I told her, she said, so Blue, the deportation was one of the things that you have suffered a lot. And I said, no, that is not the one. And she said, that's not the most horrible experience that you have had? And I said, no, it's not. And I told her, have you had horrible experiences in your life that your heart is broken? And she said, yes, I had one. So I told her, you know what? I trusted her with this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I should do it, Cindy.
If
Right.
it's too hard
Right.
for you, you don't have to. And
No,
I
it's
really
okay.
appreciate your courage in sharing what you have. I know you made a very emotional video on Father's Day a year ago, and you've already gone through this. If you don't feel like doing it again, everyone will understand that.
No, it's okay. I used to have a son. For everybody that is watching, is this little kid that I got right here.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got out, one of the reasons why I did that stupidity,
Mm-hmm.
it was because we were broke. And, I did that because I wanted to support that particular person at that particular time with my son.
You had a baby on the way.
Yeah. And before I was put away.
Right.
And when I came out, after 4 years, it's understandable that, the relationship, it cannot be, working. So divorce papers were on the table.
Right.
But most importantly, a thing that broke me, and it took me 2 years of depression to overcome, was a paternity test. So it came out negative, and immediately a lot of things came to my mind that I sacrificed. I did a stupidity for a person that it was not mine. So a lot of things, it's like a part of my body, it got ripped off, and somebody else took it.
Yeah.
Until now, I feel that I'm not complete. And I told her this, and I trusted her with this. I told her, don't mind. I don't care about the being locked up. Really, I don't care.
What
This,
prompted you? What prompted you to make that video on Father's Day? Because you didn't just pick that day. You decided to go ahead and do it, even though it was Father's Day, for a reason. What was that reason?
she was sending after she was sending little, like she does, like her pattern that she does. She started posting, little things here and there when we fell off. The number one reason why, for everybody that is watching, that we fell off is because I didn't want to continue with, the I want to be continually harassing Amy and Melinda. I'm sorry to bring their names up. And before I go, I already talked to Melinda and Amy, way before I apologized. And they apologized to me because it was, a both thing, back and forth thing. So we apologized. And also, there's another lady that I haven't apologized because I believe that I was kind of rude in my particular time when I was with Paloma. It's another lady that his name is Cristina, that she's from Texas, I think so. So I apologize to you, Cristina, if you're listening. And, it was a complete, my God, Cindy, it was every day. Anthony has a way to deny people so immediately. Anthony has a way that I'm not like that. I'm pretty bound to be friendly. And it's amazing how, our friendship fell off because she really forgot about her purpose on reporting. And she fell off, just dedicated herself to completely attack Melinda and Amy every day, every day. We saw that, and it was, before we used to talk at FaceTime, it was every day talking to me about that. Every day. And to the point that I got really exhausted, and I said, you know what? You know that I'm about work. You know that, right? She said, yes, I know that. Leave me alone with that, please. But Blue, they're trying to attack us. And she was dragging me into her drama all the time on her live feeds. That's why she's saying to everybody, oh my God, it was because of me that your platform hit me. The hell out of here, man. I've always been working. When every time that there was a problem with Melinda and Amy, she used to bring me in there. Oh my God, they're keeping attacking us. They're attacking us, guys. And they're attacking Blue, and they're attacking, now Anthony, and they're attacking us, and they're attacking. And we're like, what the hell's going on? Who they're attacking, bro? And like, I don't know. But she's saying that they're attacking us. So let's research. So she made us believe that all the trolls and every single person that it was attacking us was this two ladies that I met long ago right here in San Diego. Mm-hmm. That is Melinda and it's Amy. Mm-hmm. And she made us believe that into a point that, we were not doing anything to them, but we were like, we thought that it was okay, because she was continuously showing us evidence and all that. But, it was a continuous harassment. So I fell off. Point being that on Father's Day, I did that video because last conversation that I had with her, it was not on FaceTime. It was when Sandra Wood did a video in the dark, really creepy video. My God, this woman is, wow. Really creepy video with black glasses and started speaking to, and this voice, Paloma, like really creepy. And she started saying that we were uneducated and whatever, Paloma and me. Mm-hmm. So immediately she calls me and she's like, do you saw the video that they just did on us? I'm like, I was having breakfast with my son. So I said, no, I don't know what you're talking about. And she said, yes, they just did a video on us. You need to understand that this needs to stop and you need to do something about it. And we need to fight, Blue. We need to fight. We need to fight. We need to stay together. And I'm like, Paloma, I don't want to do anything. I don't really care. It's irrelevant for me. Continue to work. Mentality, work, stay in lane. She's like, no, 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 no. The only way to do this is to fight, Blue. Are you gonna fight with me or not? You told me that you were my paisano. I'm like, yes, you are my paisana, but I'm not going to get involved in this crap. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna get involved in this. And she's like, no, you need to stay with me. If you're not gonna stay with me, I don't know who you are anymore. So I hung up, and then later on, she sent me a big text about, how I was not sharing her page and why I was not sharing her page when I have evidence that I was doing that for like 2 months in my live feeds. I was like, okay, let me help her in a better way to pin her page in the comments. So people, when they go in my live feeds, they will see, oh, okay, here's the page of Paloma. And she called me, she messaged me and said, I'm really disappointed that you haven't shared your page to my page to your page, my new page. So, it doesn't even matter anymore. I don't care about your little page, your 4,000 little page. By that time, I have 4,000 followers. I will go with Ben.
So she was doing like the sour grapes, like, I never wanted your help anyway. I'm gonna go with Ben because he has a lot more followers than you. So she was sour grapesing you.
Yes. Well, yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and
Can I ask you a really quick question?
Yes.
Looking back at everything that you know now, and having hopefully watched all of my shows on this research about Paloma, what do you think of that Sandra video and the whole confrontation with Paloma? What do you think that was really about? Do you have any suspicions?
I think that I really think that she has been the whole time in it with her. Now that I know, I really think that they have been playing the part. These people, they used to be actresses, or they know how to do it. They know really involved. They know how to play the part. So I believe that they have been involved since a long time. All of a sudden, after a video that I did after the Father's Day, she started throwing, little posts here and there that we understand how she does. And like threatening, although she says it was not directed to you, it was directed to the pervert in New York, Michael Shapiro. And I'm like, come on, bro. I'm not 15 years old. I know what you're doing. I know what you're trying to do. So she was throwing little posts here and there.
Indirect accusations.
Yes.
That's why you mentioned the Mexican saying of throwing a rock and hiding your hand.
Sí, tira la piedra y esconde la mano.
She didn't want you to be able to confront her with the fact that she was making direct attacks at you, so she was doing them indirectly.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
She was posting about me that possibly was going to open her mouth about what I did. So I started talking to Anthony. It was for like 3-4 days straight, a whole week probably. And I said to Anthony, man, I know what she's trying to do, bro. She's gonna come at us now. And one time we were riding in the car, and I remember this, and she remembers this also. We were riding in the car, and we were like, man, don't mess with Paloma because she will get you with the memes. And she said immediately, yes, you guys know that I'm the queen of memes. So I said, but yeah, you're not going to get me with that. He's like, oh, no, I get you. I'm like, no, you're not. You're irrelevant for me. You're going to become irrelevant. I'm not going to put attention to you. You're going to become insignificant. And I'm not even going to talk to you. That is what, your kind of people need. Mm-hmm. She's like, no, you will listen. So I'm like, okay. So she started posting and posting and posting. And she catch my attention. Mm-hmm. And I did a video on Father's Day. I was enjoying my day. And, funny that it was on Father's Day. I had to come out on Father's Day and say to everybody, look, this is happening. This is what I did. If people want to continue to follow me and want to have faith in my work and still want to follow me on my work, this is what I did. And unfortunately for her, it was all the way around. People started following me more.
Mm-hmm.
They said, Oscar, everybody makes mistakes. Everybody deserves a second chance. Continue to do good. And one of the things that all these people, all these third parties, and an ex-moderator that we have, that he has the decency to be attacking me on social media when he was charged with, charge. I don't care if your charges were dropped, bro, or your charges were not dropped. You went to a trial for child molestation. So if you want to open your mouth about my charges or about Anthony's charges, just please check yourself, because if you were in the federal system, I will tell you, it will now look really good on you. Really.
Hi, Baldy.
And I prefer 1 trillion times, and everybody in the federal system, they prefer 1 trillion times to be held accountable for whatever crime instead of that one. I will tell you that. I will tell you that 100% because I served, unfortunately and shamefully, 4 years. And I know, and by you talking to me and having the audacity to be talking about my record and be telling me that I am an ungrateful human being, that I don't deserve, and that I don't need to be given the news when you committed child molestation. Well, you were charged and you went to a trial. You got to be kidding me. You don't go to a trial if the charges were dropped immediately. You go like this. You don't go to a trial. So it is, all these people started coming together. And on this day, on Father's Day, I came out. I said, you know what? This is what I did. If you want to continue to follow me, there it is. If you don't want to continue to follow me, I understand. And for all these people, Cindy, it's been, they're hating it right now because I don't brag. I'm really a humble guy. And my page, fortunately, because of people like you, people like Anthony, like Ben, other people that I collaborated with, Beto Alfa, Gilberto Lozano, Carlos de Contracultura in Chile, Fernando de Chile, a lot of people around my country of Mexico, and a lot of people that I have won the respect, because for you to win the respect, you got to do the groundwork. You really have to do the groundwork. For
You have to be consistent. I'm very careful about the relationships that I build in media, and frankly, there is a professional courtesy from reporter to reporter, where somebody reaches out, you want to help them out, you want to find out what you can do, if there's something that you can do in information gathering or research or what have you. But there are standards. I have standards for who I will work with. I mean, we create media on our platform with a lot of other broadcasters, some of them just brand new young folks that are coming out of college trying to get into communications. And one of the most important thing that I tell them about working with me is you need to be consistent. You need to be a hard worker, but you also need to be consistent. It's so important for the audience, and it's so important for a professional to be able to do their job and do it long term, sustainably. And I got to say, that is one of the things I admire about your work the most. You work every single day. You put out the work, rain or shine, what have you. And on a personal note, when I came to Mexico with Duke, you were so above and beyond. I mean, it's one thing to agree to show us around town, and you were very, generous host. In doing so, you took us all the places that we wanted to go and the places that you wanted to show us. It was a wonderful collaboration. You were easy to work with, and you were also so kind. You took us out to eat. You drove us to our hotel. You helped us book our accommodations. I mean, really above and beyond, I would say. And although I shudder every time I remember that you collaborated with Paloma, I get it. I see that guy because I met that guy in person when I was in Tijuana. You're that guy. You're always trying to go above and beyond in helping a fellow, content creator. What was your intention with Paloma?
My intention was, when I met her, it was between a conversation about our municipal president. Well, no,
Mayor.
what the first time that I met her was at a rally. To be honest with you,
Okay.
and she was in the middle of the whole thing, and I went over there and I said, "You support President Trump?" And she looked at me really mad, like really rude person for a first question of a person that it was, asking you because you were making a big deal out of it in the middle of the rally. She said, "Yes, and you knew that, right? You knew that, right? You knew that, right?" So I'm like, what the hell is wrong with this lady? So I got out, and after doing American life, English life, they started saying, "You need to hook up with Paloma. You need to hook up with Paloma." So I'm like, "Who's this Paloma?" So like I told you, I start, watching, and I started, reading, and I started seeing that she goes to the caravan. So I like people to do boots in the groundwork. So my intention was always to work. My intention was not to do other things. My intentions were always friendly, were always kind, and were always to work together. Other than that, she lacks a little bit of skills of communication. So I said, I can teach her a few things. I can tell her how to do this. I can tell her how to do that. I even, I told her after I told her, we can, hey, Paloma, you need to be a little bit more, in the ground. Start wearing heels, wear shoes so you can, so you can respond to activists, and you can be walking around more comfortably. Start doing this, start doing that, manage yourself with this, speak like this. And she said, "Oh, okay, Blue, okay." Even I try to help her once, with I don't know if I'm about to say whatever I have to say, but there was this Jorge Ramos interview,
Mm-hmm.
and she was constantly calling me all week and telling me, "Hey, you know what, Blue? I'm going to Jorge Ramos. Can you help me out with what I'm about to say, because I don't know what to say?" And I said, "Yes, of course, I'll help you. But I'm busy right now. I'm working, so whenever I'm free, I'll help you." And the day before the interview, she's like, "Oh, you didn't help me." I'm like, "Okay, this is what you need to do. Jorge Ramos likes to give statistics. What you need to do is give him his statistics plus on top another ones. So you will shut him up, and he doesn't have an opportunity to answer back. So you always a step forward with him." They're like, "Okay, so how do I do that?" I send her a huge text, what to say and what to not to say, and how the caravans were working, and all this stuff.
All of the
So
stuff that all of the stuff that you say, all of the stuff that you've reported, all of the stuff that you've researched, you just handed it over to Paloma so she could be prepared for her interview, because she
Yes.
didn't know any of that stuff on her own.
No, no, no. That's the thing that I've been, that I have worked so hard in terms of statistics, and in terms of showing the people actually the reality about, the amounts of fake families, going out and about and confronting activists and confronting lawyers and getting the information out of firsthand that they creating fake marriages and all that kind of stuff. All of that is fortunately, BNN content. So I gave it to her so she can provide to the public, because that is a huge platform. So I'm like, hey, go ahead and use it, and make shine, make yourself shine to that day, go ahead and shine. And, all of my intentions were always friendly towards her. I consider her, and to the moment that we fell off, a friend. And that is why I say to everybody, I don't have no anger against her or her husband. With her husband is another type of feeling that is kind of personal. But with me, with her, it's more disappointing. Really, it was disappointing for me.
Didn't you also try to help her with merchandising and equipment?
Yes. We were walking one day at downtown. It was Ben, Anthony, and myself. We were walking downtown, and I saw her with her cell phone all the time, holding it like this. So I had at that time a gimbal that Anthony gave me, and there was a gimbal that some of the followers that they were following, also, all of us, they sent me a gimbal, and I had one brand new one.
And for people that don't know what a gimbal is, it's a stabilizer for your phone, for your camera.
Yeah. And, I had a gimbal, in a brand new one in the house. And I had it right there. I said, whenever this one that Anthony has given me, and if it breaks, I will, I'll use the new one.
How much do those run? How much do those cost approximately?
From $200 to $300.
Wow.
So we were walking around, and she was always with her phone. Mm-hmm. So I said to her when we were walking back to the car, I said, Paloma, you need a stabilizer. And she's like, yeah, I want to get one of those, but I don't know, I have, it's not me. I said, no, but you know what, all of us have one, so you really need it. You really need a stabilizer. She's like, yes, I know I need it. And Jean said, I tell her to ask for, for stuff. And I said, you know what? I have one at home. I'll give it to you. And, for one other reason, we did not always connect it at the same time, so I can give it to her in a particular place or something like that. Mm-hmm. So one day I had it in the trunk, and she's like, hey, she called me, and she's like, hey, where are you? I'm like, I'm about to do an audit. I didn't tell her what I was doing, but I was like, I'm about to do an audit. Mm-hmm. I was about to deliver some files to a company, and I was with my son. And I said, well, I'm over here in this area. She's like, oh, can we meet? I'll be there in 15 minutes. I said, well, I got the gimbal right here. Yes, that's why I want to meet you. So, all right. So I said, okay, I'll meet you at Macro Plaza. That is a plaza over here. And immediately when, where are you? I'm in the fourth floor. I'm all the way to the top. You're like, okay. She came in. It was, Jean and her. And she got out of the car, and she's like, blue. So I said, like, hey, what's going on? And I'm like, okay, here's the gimbal, brand new one. I gave it to her. Use it. Try to use it as much as you can. And I explained to her how it runs. This is the stabilizer, la, la, la. You move it like this. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. Thank you. And like, let's do a video. Always was this thing with her. Mm-hmm. Let's do a video together. Let's do a video. So I said, okay, yeah, I don't, I got my son in the car. Just don't show him. I really want to tell you this. Don't ever show my son. And she's like, yes, yeah, I won't show it. So we were in the live, and I told her, hey, don't say that I gave this to you, because I don't want them to think that I gave you something and la, 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 like this.
Right.
So just keep it between me and you. So my son was kind of like interrupting the live feed, so I opened the door like this, and I said, hey, stay right there. Don't move. The parking lot was alone. There was no cars, mm-hmm. and it was like right here beside me. Mm-hmm. So we were talking, and she goes like this. and I almost slapped the phone out of her, like,
You were gonna
try to
smack
grab
the
it.
phone out of her hand.
And she's like, oh, I'm sorry. So after I finished the video, I didn't direct it myself to her. I directed myself to Gene, and I told him, "You eliminate that video right now.
Erase it.
Erase it.
And he
Erase that
did.
video."
And he
And
did
she
it.
said, like, she goes like, "Why? Why?" I'm like, "You know why?" And I just told you. I just told you, and you did it. Erase that video right now. She's like, "Okay, Paloma, borra el video." And she erased the video. And things little like that.
Now I want to
They-
ask you about that. The times that you met her, because it seems like, just like Anthony, you started to notice a lot of red flags that that made you feel uncomfortable, and um, I'm just astounded that you gave her $200 to $300 piece of equipment. And by the way, you didn't want credit. You didn't want her blabbing to people that you gave her anything. And on the same day you gave her that gift, she put your son on a video, even though you had just told her, don't ever film my son. She decided, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and cross the line. She's a line crosser. She wanted to cross that line to see what you would do. And she went ahead and did it. On any of these trips, meetings that you had with her, did she buy you lunch? Did she pay for? Did she do anything for you like that? Was she paying for any of the meals that you had when you guys met up? Coffee, Coca-Cola?
Never. She knows. There was the time at Pampas, we all pitch in. She didn't pay anything. Next day, they would.
Did you pay
I
for
took
her
him-
and Jean?
We pitch in. Anthony, Ben, and I. And then the day after, we went to lunch. I paid for her breakfast. I don't know about Jean, but I paid for her breakfast. And there was another day that we got together, Ben, Paloma, and I took her to another, little cafe. It was a really nice cafe, and I bought her lunch, and I bought Jean's lunch. So no, she never invited me nothing to eat.
Who paid for the
She-
gas?
Was that?
Did she drive her own car when you guys worked together? Who paid for the gas?
No, she never drove her car all the time. It was both of them have a really toxic relationship. It's really
What do you mean by
toxic.
toxic? What do you mean by toxic? Give me an
My
example.
God, they insult each other like it's really bad. It's really, really bad the way that they get along. It's none of my business. When we were driving, I remember this one. We were in the car. We went to a chaparral. Ben was in the front. I was right here driving, and she was in the back. And she started calling Gene, "Where are you?" He's like, "I'm over here in the other part of the parking lot." She's like, "You stupid effing assing everything." And me and Ben looked like, "Hey, whoa, calm down. No. He's never on time. He never does this. He never, like, wow, man." And the trips that we took to, like, the Tecate fence, the Tecate border, and all the time that there was, the time that all four of us were together and Gene was in the back, we were really surprised. Anthony and me, we were really surprised the way that they talked to each other. It was more as there were no relationship. It was more like they were just buddies, but they insulted each other in a way that I have never seen, a woman disrespect a man and a man disrespect a woman. Really, it was, and it was, and then at the end of the day, it was a relationship. I don't know what kind, but it was a relationship. They were never holding hands, or there was not a touch or something like that, or a kiss. But it was really weird. It was really, really weird. It
Well,
was, they had a really toxic. They have, I don't know, but they have a really weird relationship.
and didn't you tell me that even though Jean was there, even though Jean with her, she was very sexually inappropriate around you and Anthony and Ben,
Yeah,
right in front of her husband?
yeah. There was two times. One of them, Anthony said last week that
Oh, that she
happened.
spread her legs
Uh,
in the car?
yeah. For me, it was
How did you feel when that happened?
uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable. Second time was uh, Gene stepped out of the car and said, like, I'm going to get something to eat. I'm going to get something to drink. And Ben was not there. Ben went to the bathroom. So I was in the driver's seat and I did this the first time. And when I did this, well, she was in the middle, sitting in the middle, and she was like, you know, and she had a really Levi's mini skirt,
Mm-hmm.
and like everything was showing.
Mm-hmm.
So I looked like, I said, like, come on. I said, like, come on, Paloma. And she's like, what? And I said, like, hey, close them.
You
And
had to tell her to close her legs?
yeah, because we used to like say stuff like that to each other, like, hey, it was
Right.
kind of like a serious, but in a like
En-
friendly kind
Entre
of
las
joking
buenas y
manner.
las veras se van las de a de veras.
Yeah, like something
Yeah.
like that.
So you told her close the legs, and what did she do?
She said, "Oh, I'm sorry," and then she like put her skirt all the way,
Down.
kind of down.
Mm-hmm.
And Anthony was, I know his laugh. I know his laugh when he's uncomfortable. He does this little smirk like, hmm. So I knew that he was really uncomfortable. He was with his phone like turning on this way
Wow.
because it was all over the place. So we felt, I felt a little uncomfortable. I'm not gonna say that I didn't. It was uncomfortable.
Sounds like a trap. It sounds like she was laying a trap for you boys.
I never fell in her trap. If she was trying to do something, I never felt not to insult a woman. That is not going to be me. But I never was attracted to her in that particular way. Really, I was never attracted to her in that particular way.
Now, with regard to her, I mean, we talked about how unprofessional it is for her to wear these really big high heels and wear the mini skirts. She was also and then spreading her legs is just like really, but beyond that, she also was wearing a shirt that was very revealing. It showed her nipples through the shirt, and as if that weren't enough, since she wasn't getting the attention she wanted to elicit with her boobage, she made an out loud in front of everyone announcement about that, didn't she? What did she say?
Yeah, yeah. She wears this tank tops, I think that it's called.
Yeah.
And like they're all over the place. But I remember this particular experience. I haven't told you this. Um, there was a time that they went with Cowboys for Trump, I think so. It was in the snow. It was snowing. I don't know where the place was at. It was Anthony right there, and there was another. It was Coy from Cowboys for Trump over there. I don't know where. I don't know who else.
Mm-hmm.
It was the first time that I met that guy. He's a really phenomenal guy. We met him through FaceTime, and she called me in the morning, FaceTime, Paloma, and I saw a missed call. I was busy, and then I called her back. And when I called her back, she was in a robe.
What?
And yeah, and she just got out of the shower. And I'm like, damn. I said, like, that was my first expression, like, damn, what's going on? Like, hey, you busy? I'll call you later. No, 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 it's okay. I'm like, no, 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 I'll call you later. Bye. And those kind of things were like, made me really uncomfortable. So, I always talk to my boy because he's like my brother Anthony, and I tell him this kind of like, stuff, and he's like, "Hey, you already know.
Right. Watch yourself.
Watch out.
Check yourself
You,
before you wreck
you,
yourself."
you know what's coming." So I said, I don't think so, man. I don't think so. We are more like
Oh my God,
friends.
Oscar. Are you
And,
kidding me? A show by show of hearts, likes, and thumbs up. How many people watching this walking trash fire that is Paloma didn't know? How many of you noticed that she was trying to ensnare Oscar and Anthony? How many of you noticed that she was trying to use her womanly wiles? I mean, she was obviously hitting on you, guys.
that's a lot of likes, people.
I'm just saying, was anybody under the impression that she was being professional? Anyone?
Uh,
I never saw that. I didn't watch her very often. She really didn't come onto my radar until she started being on your feeds when you guys all got together in Tecate and in Tijuana, and I instantly saw that she was after you. I mean, that was my impression. I think I'm not the only one that saw that, noticed that.
yeah.
So, question. In addition to the help that you were giving her, by the way, you forgot to mention the fact that in addition to helping her with her Jorge Ramos interviews, helping her, trying to polish her look, trying to give her equipment, you also even tried to help her find, you gave her the idea of merchandising a doll that looked like her that would say, "Guys, guys, guys." Did you not? Ooh, did we lose him? Oh shoot, we lost him. I thought he was being really quiet. It just happened that his chat ended. We'll get him back on here, guys. I'm gonna get you that answer. I'll get you that answer in a minute. I don't know what happened there, but shortly we'll be back. What's going on? Did the call get answered? Yeah, try one more time. Do it again. Oh, here you go. Here, he's calling you. Now we're in. Now we're in, hopefully. Where is the video? He has no video feed. And your other window, you had two windows open for that.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter?
Nope.
What is going on? This is weird, isn't it?
It's technical on his end, I think.
No! Here it comes again. I think it does matter if you have a lot of those open, but it says connection lost right away. Contacting and
Dude.
Yay!
There we go. We got you. We got you back.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
Sorry, I don't know what happened.
We don't either.
Sometimes
but
it
you know
happens,
what?
sometimes
As
it
long as you're back, that's all that matters. I was right in the middle of mentioning that you helped her with merchandising by helping to find somebody that would make a doll that would look like her and say, "Guys, guys, guys." Did you not?
Yes, we were. I have a friend. Can you hear me good?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Great.
I have a friend of mine that works at a company that was used to call Juguetrenes.
Mm-hmm.
Juguetrenes over here in Tijuana were, a company that
A toy company.
used to make, dolls and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So we were outside of the motel two things happened right there. We were outside of the motel. She was not in a good mood because we just climbed the whole mountain, and she got all like scars in her legs because she was wearing a miniskirt.
Yeah.
And she was not in a good mood because people were not donating to her. You know, she was telling me, hey, did any donations came at you? And I said, oh yeah, they gave me $20 last night. And like, oh, that's something, you know, these people don't care. We risk our lives. They don't care. Really, they don't care. You know, sometimes I just want to throw everything away because they don't value what we're doing, you know. And there's other people that they're speakers that they're getting paid $5,000, and you know they don't pay us nothing to speak at public places, and they don't give us money, and you know we're not getting the recognition from from the organizations that they are close to the president, like Latinos for Trump and like all these RNHAs or whatever. I don't know these organizations really.
Mm-hmm.
And she started like a little rant. So I said, hey, hold on. I don't even know what the hell you're talking about. Like, you asked me a question. I'm just answering like, yes, they gave me $20 last night for gas. So I'm going to put that on gas. She's like, well, something is something for you. So I saw her a little bit stressed out. And I said, you know what? We need to do something, Paloma, for you to get on track. You're really hooked on the drama, man. You need to stop that. You need to stop attacking these two ladies. You need to be, concentrated on work.
Yeah.
You need to be concentrated on work. That's the thing that you need to be doing. And she said, yes, Blue, what did you suggest? Like, I said, like, okay, every time that I go live at a particular place at a shelter, because this is one of the things that is really weird with her, man. I'll go to that point later. But I said to her, every time that we're at shelter, I will call you, and we can hook up, and I can take you to that place so you can get audience going, and we can start broadcasting together. She said, oh, okay, that's a great idea. Also, I have an idea. For you. I got a friend of mine, you like all this flamboyant and all this stuff,
Mm-hmm.
moving your hair and the glasses and all that stuff. I got a friend of mine that works at a toy factory. Probably you can get a doll, a Paloma doll, and you can say like guys, and all that kind of stuff. That
Mm-hmm.
we used to give her a hard time with that. We used to joke around with that.
Mm-hmm.
And she said like, oh, oh, okay, oh, wow. And she told Gene, oh, Blue is gonna hook me up with, something like that. But things started happening, things, a little later. One of the things that is really curious is that she was a really strong activist for the president of the United States, that is Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
That's why she has her name Paloma, for Trump. And some of the times I wish that I knew why she has never confronted activists. Why she has never
So do I.
confronted
I have the same question.
like why you have never confronted Al Lado, why you have never confronted, Border Support Network, why you have never confronted, Antifa, why you have never confronted all these in Tijuana. I'm talking about where it's at in Tijuana.
Mm-hmm.
And and in the last place that I thought that I was going to see her again, it was when Rashida Tlaib came over here.
Yeah.
And Rashida Tlaib, the border mosque,
Yeah.
made a post saying we're on Wednesday. They put that we're going to be on Sunday to do a Muslim prayer, and possibly I have the post right there. We will have Rashida Tlaib. So I was like really intrigued, like, okay. So I didn't believe it at first, but later on, a friend of mine that works at a restaurant close from there, he called me and immediately said, hey, you know what? There's a lot of people right here from that religion, with signs and all that stuff. So if you want to come over here. And I said, Rashida Tlaib. So I got dressed immediately. And in my mind, I was thinking, this is the perfect moment for her to reconcile with her audience. This is the perfect moment for her to reconcile with her audience. Probably I'm going to see her over there. Most possibly I'm going to see her over there. I don't want to bump in with her. I don't want to talk with her because it's gonna make, I don't want nothing to do with her. But after all that I have been through with her, after all that I have been, she has been attacking, harassing, and all of it, I was wishing that she could come back and work, that she can come back and be that person that she wants to be, but she's not. And I get there and there's nobody. So, these are the patterns that I don't understand. Like, you're trying to do something for the president. You're live Tijuana. And Tijuana, there's a lot of work regarding shelters, regarding activists, regarding illegal entries, regarding coyotes. Man, this is the most visited border in the world, for God's sake. There's a lot of work regarding that has a lot of connections with this, and that, and you don't see her at those particular places. And I tried, Cindy, I tried to help. I try to help, whether I know what she's going to post, and I know probably what she's going to do. She's going to bring, this person on the live feed, and she is confessing that, she sees Oscar Blue slip with 40,000 women, and like he took advantage of them. I already know your pattern. I already know your MO. I already know what you're possibly going to do. But this is the reality. I don't know why you were never there when it was gold for you to work. That's you. That's like, you always brag about being an activist, being hardcore. You go in there like, and you were never there in the important occasions over here in Tijuana. And I try to help her with a doll.
Well, the truth is,
thank God for that moment not happening.
The truth is, the pattern that I've noted as a researcher, as a reporter, is, she does get close to people that she admires for their work, for their wealth, for their following, for their, makeup and jewelry, for their beautiful home in California, for their lifestyle of travel, and for all of the people that have been her victims were once people she was trying to get close to, trying to be more like, trying to steal their lives, if you will. And then she was found out, rejected, and then the stalking and the harassment began at that point, when somebody figures out that, there's something wrong with her. Then that's when the harassing and the stalking begin nonstop. And I think that's what happened to you. And it's taken me a while to understand how you tick, how you work, how your brain works. Because I honestly, and I've talked to a lot of people, if you've been paying attention, I've interviewed about their experience with Paloma. It took you particularly long, you, Oscar. And I'm starting to see a bigger picture. You're a tough guy on the exterior, but you're really a teddy bear inside. You're a very kind-hearted man who's always trying to do good for your fellow man, and you give people the benefit of the doubt again and again and again and again. Sometimes it's a little infuriating that you're so...
I'm sorry.
You're so softy. You are such a softy.
When it comes to... I will tell you something. When it comes to activists, I really don't care with them. When it comes to all these liberal clowns that they're over here, I really don't care. I really go in there and I don't care. They know what time it is. So I really don't care. But when it comes to these particular situations, I know my mom and my grandmother, God bless her soul, taught me a lot how to, be that kind of not soft guy, but understandable. That's the problem with me and Anthony. Anthony always gets mad at me because he's like, "No, bro. If it wasn't for him, I would have made a lot of wrong decisions regarding a lot of decisions with second chances to people." But he is more of a person that he is the balance of my persona, really. God bless my partner, really. Thank him
Thank
so
God
much.
for Anthony.
Yeah, he's
Thank
more
be.
like, you know what, bro? This has to end. And, this woman is taking advantage. This woman is doing this. This woman is attacking you. This woman, this, and that. That's it. And I'm like, you know what? I wake up and I'm like, you know what? You're absolutely right. What the hell am I doing? So, it's not that I'm not that, I don't know if I'm not that type of guy, but that's just the way I am, Cindy. I must apologize to everybody if it infuriates somebody that they're trying to understand, like, Oscar, she's been doing this to you, infuriate yourself. That's the reason why when I started, I said it's not a question of anger with her. With Jean is another situation, really personal, right there. But with her is it's something that is more of a disappointment, really big disappointment that is never going to come back to me. It's never coming back. But a big disappointment, like huge disappointment. It's not like I hold a grudge, I hate you, I don't want to see. Let's just stay away. Really, I don't want to see you again. That kind of disappointment it is.
Well, I have had Mary Tando and Alexa and a multitude of other people that talked to me about another person that she collaborated with named Robert Herrera. She ended up taking out a restraining order against him, one of those retaliatory restraining orders against him. And she got rid of his social media accounts. She complained about his social media accounts until they were taken down, I believe, on Twitter and on YouTube. And she basically hunted him down mercilessly, and I believe in some regard still attacks him from time to time. He goes by the name of Legal Latino Heat.
Mm.
And like so many other victim stories, the folks that have this friend-enemy relationship, because they go from friends to being enemies, they always live to regret having made her acquaintance. You told me that she talked to you about Legal Latino, and it was when you guys were talking about what your biggest heartbreaks were, and she brought him up.
Oh yeah.
What did she say?
Can I say something first, Cindy? I
Of course.
got another screen right here, and I'm watching you right here on the bottom, and I see a lot of laughing emojis, so that must be you. So I want to say hi to you. All right. And all to all the trolls. How you doing? Big hug. Send a big hug. So yes, we were sitting down. That was when we were talking about the situation, really personal situation, and I asked her, what has been one of the most hurtful things that you have gone through in this past, years? And she told me that there was a guy by the name of Legal Latino. I said, who's that guy? He said, oh, his name is Robert or Roberto. Mm-hmm. And I said, oh, okay, so what's up with him? Well, I met him. We became really, close. We fell in love, and and he asked me to marry him. So I said, wow. And you were not with Jean? And she goes like, no, I was not. At the time we were not together. I said, oh, wow. And what happened? She goes like, well, I said no. And like, why you say no? You love him. She said like, well, Legal Latino told me that he wanted a child, and because he wanted a child, I said no, and like, you don't want to have kids? She's like, no, no, no. I was in my my peak of my career, Oscar. How am I going to have a kid? How am I going to have a kid? This is impossible. I said no immediately to him. I said no to him. And I said, well, are you still in love with him or something like that? Do you still talk to him? I was like, that is never going to go away, Oscar. That is never going to go away. That was something really special with me and him. But me having a kid from him, I don't think so. I was in the peak of my career. That was going to interrupt everything. And right now I'm trying to pick it up again, and I will never, have a child with somebody in that particular point of my career. So I'm like, oh wow, so you decided no, and so you picked up your stuff and you just went away. Like, yes, that's what I did. I just broke it off with him, and he keeps insisting me, every day. He calls me, but I don't answer him. But I wish that I could, have a child later on, but I can't. With him, no. So that was the explanation.
And didn't you tell me that later on in the time that you were still friends with her, she was constantly talking about how she wanted to have a baby, and she was actively speaking as if she was planning the pregnancy, and even asking you like, what name should I name if it's a girl, and things like that, right?
Yeah, she was. We were giving her a hard time. I was like, hey, you know what? Just don't name her Paloma.
But
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
that's a good one.
Quick joke. Quick joke. I just broke it off for a little bit. I'm sorry. Uh,
No, but
I'm sorry.
I remember when you told me this, I was like, did that not make you think that something strange was going on? Because here she is talking about having a baby when she told you that the reason why she had to break her own heart and break off a relationship with the man that she will love for the rest of time, a man that she will always be in love with, and a love that will last for the rest of her life no matter what happens, is because she could not have a baby because she had to grow her career. And in a short time after that, she's planning to have a baby,
Yeah,
and not with
she
him,
was.
and not with
She
Robert.
told me. Yeah, she told me that on 2020 she was going to do a big surprise, and a big surprise was that she was going to get pregnant. So I said, like, wow, just so what are your expectants? Like, what do you want, a kid or a girl? No, I want a little girl. And that's when the joke came, like, just don't name her Paloma. I told her that, just don't name her Paloma. She's like, oh no, 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 I'm not gonna name her that. Like, oh, okay, well, just, well, when are you planning to tell everybody? Because that's a big thing. You're a public figure. You're all of this. So she's like, no, I'm not gonna tell anybody. I'm just, it will happen, Blue. And I'm like, oh wow, that's great. So it never came. I don't know, that's her life. That's her. But uh, she was always like, I don't know what happened in her childhood really, but regarding kids, she has always been like that. Like, she lacks of that,
Yeah,
the
there's something.
necessity of that.
Yeah, there's something really, really weird about all of the mentions in past relationships. Um, for one, I know that I've showed text messages on my show where she was telling someone that she had lost, aborted a baby, basically that she had had a miscarriage,
Oh wow.
and that she had not realized that she was pregnant, and that there was water all over her bed. Like it sounded completely made up. Any woman who's ever given birth or ever gone through the process of childbirth knows that when you miscarry a baby, there's not a bunch of water on the bed. You know, like the ridiculousness of what she was describing made it obvious that she was trying to pretend that she had been pregnant and that somehow she lost the pregnancy.
Oh wow.
And and also I will never forget the story that Mary Tando told on my show about how Paloma told Mary that she wanted to have a baby, that she wanted a child, not a baby of her own, because she even got into a fight with her husband Gene because he said, we're not having no babies." But she was asking Mary to tag along with her, come to Mexico. She knows a guy that runs an orphanage or something like that, and you can just go pick one up. Like you go to the grocery store or like the dog pound and just like pick up a kid. And she wanted Mary to help her come along and choose one. And then of course there's always the very disturbing story of how when she met Ben and Ben Berquam's family, she took Ben's child on her lap and said, "I want to get one of these," repeatedly. "I want one. I want one. I want one." So I noticed that pattern, and I think it's a relevant thing to take note of because it shows some kind of problem, some internal issue that surrounds the topic of children in particular.
Yes, that's crazy.
But there's also the issue that you witnessed, which Anthony also talked about, and which everyone that was in the vehicle got to see. And that is that she was constantly making memes, altering pictures of Amy and Melinda and who knows how many other people on a page called FCons.
Yeah. That was on the trip that we took to Tecate.
Mm-hmm.
She openly talked about, that she was running that page. She openly talked about it. She showed us what she was doing to Melinda and what she was doing to Amy. Again, for the second time, because I am that kind of person, like you say, Cindy. To the ladies, again, publicly, is the second time that I tell you, I apologize. I did not know what kind of monster I was rolling with at the time. It's not my fault. It's not entirely, like I was doing it on purpose.
Right.
But yes, we were in the car, and she started like showing memes. The bus bowl meme that is real famous for Amy.
Mm-hmm.
Memes to Melinda, unfortunately. And talked about Melinda's family like it was a joke. Talk about her daughters, her grandchilds.
Oh,
Talk
yeah.
about
I mean, just like she crossed the line with your son and felt
yeah,
entitled to go ahead and videotape him after you told her not to, she used people's children. She's
yeah,
used a number of people's children, like Christina Segundo, another one of the people that was victimized by this woman,
yes,
using the images of their kids and their grandkids.
yeah. And that was one of the things that was kind of disturbing for us when she started doing that. We started saying like, hey, that's too, like you're over the limit now. You're rough. And she was saying like, no, that's the way we gotta defend ourselves, Blue. If we don't put a step into them, like they need to stop, we will make them stop. Like I will do whatever it takes to make them stop. This is a war, and I will fight it, and I will continue to be here to fight it. And like, what war are you talking about? Like, this is not a war. This is just like, memes fighting, like post fighting. But this is not a war. What the hell are you talking about? But she is so attached to social media that she cannot give away that she doesn't have any views, that her video in the morning didn't have no many likes, that I have 70K followers and she lives on that page 60K or whatever page that she had, that everybody lived out of me and everybody was famous because of me, and I was the first one that it was at the border, and I was the first one that I was reporting, and I was the first one that did this, and I went viral, and after I went viral, everybody started following me because they wanted to do exactly what I was doing. Like, oh my God. And
Even her positions for the pro-Trump group, Lexit, when she was made ambassador, was a way for her to try to make people angry, hurt people's feelings, specifically Melinda and Amy. Didn't she ask you to make a post on your BNN page about that?
in my personal page and on BNM page, and then Anthony took it out. um, she called me and she said, "Blue, big news." And I said, "What happened?" "They just made me ambassador of Lexit in Mexico." So I said, "Wow, wow, that's who's Lexit?" And
What's Lexit?
I don't know really. I don't know these Latinos for Trump, Lexit, and I don't really care really. That's their movement in the United States. That's their groups. That's their la la la. Good for you. But they said like, "Oh, who's Lexit?" And like, "Oh, it's the next thing. They're gonna be big. They're gonna take over. It's like Latinos for Trump, but it's revolutionized. It's 2.0. It's like this, and that. I need you to do something for me because I want to give it to the urracas in the face."
The magpies. That's what she called Amy and Melinda.
Yeah. And I said, "What? No, 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 no. Like, I'm not gonna do anything for that. I already told you." "Okay, if you're not gonna do it for that, just do something for me." I'm like, "What do you want?" "Can you post on your page something about me, of Lexit, that I just became the ambassador of Mexico,
Mm-hmm.
of Lexit?" And I said like, "Oh, what do you want me to post?" "Something really nice." And I said, "Okay, well, I'll do it, but this will be the last time that I do it. All right, I don't want to be involved in those groups, and those groups don't want me to be involved. So,
Right.
this will be the last time that I do it for you." Yes, because I want to give it to them. I said again, I'm not going to do it because of that. Get it through your head. I'm going to help you, but it's not going to be because of that reason. Do you get it? And she's like, "Okay, yeah, I get it, Blue." So I did a post in my page about congratulations to Paloma. I feel proud that a Mexican in Mexico is becoming a movement and la la la. And she called me back like, "Oh my God, that was so beautiful, Blue, and I admire you so much. You're a really strong man. You're a really strong man. You're really strong, Blue." She used to say that a lot. That I used to, when she met me, she used to say, "You're a really strong guy, Blue. You're really hard to break." And I told her it's because I have gone through so much in my life that I don't think that it can get any worse for what I have lived through.
Right.
So, you can put out videos, you can put out pictures, you can put out posts, you can bring guests, you can do 4-hour videos of talking about women and, "Oh my God, he did this to me." You can do whatever you want, but it can't get any bit worse than that.
Right.
And she always said that. And in the last moment, she was like, "I thought that you were strong." Like, she tried to pull me in with that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, "Oh, why are you not that strong? I thought that you were strong. I thought that you were going to back me up. Thought that we were together. I thought that we were friends." And with that post of Brexit, and it was kind of like the same.
Yeah. Didn't she tell you also when you asked what is Lexit? Didn't she tell you that Lexit was the group that was going to kick the ass of Latinos for Trump?
Yeah. She said that, and she was pretty emphatic of that.
It
She
was
was
is
always,
that's really bizarre because there's supposed to be groups that are not competing really with each other. They're supposed to be in support of Latinos that are conservative and that
no.
are Trump supporters. Do you know why she was speaking about Latinos for Trump in that way?
Yeah, she talked about me, that they did not kick her out, that she resigned from Latinos for Trump because they were backstabbers,
Hmm.
because they were talking bad about her all the time, that they were always bringing conflicts to her, that she was never, the one that it was bringing conflicts, that she was always doing a lot of things without getting recognition, that she was not getting paid because she was, every time that she did a presentation, she was not getting paid. And this woman compared herself to, Laura Loomer. This woman compared herself to, Ana Paulina, women that they are, over here.
Yeah.
And she wanted to be on that level. Like, I can't believe that I'm not there. So she was always complaining to that organization that they were not helping her to get to that level. So the reason why she told me she resigned was because they were not giving her the credibility and the value that she was supposed to be given. So she never had no problems with nobody in that organization. She was a saint. She was an angel coming down from the sky. She was never had a problem in Latinos for Trump. So when she told me about this other organization, she said, we are going to, this organization is going to kick Latinos for Trump out. Like, we're going to kick their ass. That was her
Wow.
expression. So I was like, okay, whatever, and you are, and then, my partner Anthony became part of Latinos for Trump. That, I don't, uh, that's not my thing. My thing, Cindy, is reporting and doing journalism.
You know what? That
Uh,
reminds me that Anthony, when he was here, he had mentioned something about the with Latinos for Trump, and I never got to ask him what happened with Paloma. So, Anthony, if you're listening, I would love to have you back on the show so that we can unpack the whole Latinos for Trump Lexit debacle. But thank you for sharing that story. I wanted to give you an opportunity to clarify something else that people have always been wondering about. Because after you finally came forward and you just decided to throw off the yoke of Paloma and get rid of this burden that kept attacking you, even as you were trying to help her, then after that, you went your separate ways, but you still ran into each other, for example, at the AMLO rally. And she made a lot of videos trashing you after the AMLO rally, basically calling you a coward and a lot
uh,
of other things, but I want you to set the record straight. Tell us what really happened at the AMLO rally.
Although I know that she already had her story made, but this is what really happened in the AMLO rally. I got there late. Somebody already messaged me and said, "Oh, you know what? Paloma's already there." So I said, "Okay, I'm gonna do me." So our downtown is divided by streets. It's like it goes lateral, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and like that. So AMLO was between the second and the third in the Constitution Avenue. That's what it's called. And I get there, and I already had an agreement with a guy in a motel to climb on the roof and to get perfect video from there and to, focus on the phone directly to him and to do commentating. So I go to the particular motel. I go up, and the owner says yes. So I go back down. I said I'm gonna buy myself a water. It was really hot. I go up, and the guy says, you know what? The Marines are up, and they didn't agree with you coming in. So I was like, ah. So I start talking to my moderators, and I tell them like, hey, you know what? There's no signal. I'm having a hard time with signal. Having a hard time. I'm gonna try to go around from the Ambler was in the 2nd Street. I'm gonna go around the 1st Street and go behind the stage. I was not putting attention to the phone. I was trying to get there quick. I get to the back of the stage, on the backstage, and I started seeing, a lot of, brand new cars. Like it was all politician cars. So I walked in like I was a big shot, and nobody noticed me at first. But when I was more getting into the door, I tried to blend in with another guy. I was waiting, I was waiting for somebody from the press so I can blend in with him. And there was this one guy that it was from TV Azteca. So I'm like, okay, this is my time. So I go behind him. And when I go behind him, the security guard just does this. I was never attacked. For me, an attack is somebody punching me in the face. That is an attack. I was never attacked. Somebody just pulled me like this. ¿A dónde vas? And they said, where are you going? So I said like, hey, cálmate. Hey, come down. And he's like, oh, where are you going? I'm like, oh, I'm going to, do broadcast. No, you can't go in. It's only TV Azteca, Televisa, Univision, y Telemundo. That's it. So I'm like, all right, okay. So I got out, and then I did a live video. And I said, I just got pulled over by the shirt, by the security guard, but that was it. Emphasize this. I did not know where this woman was. I did not know what she was doing. I did not know where she was at. And one of my moderators was at the place that she was at. I got a moderator. She's from Tijuana. Excellent moderator, by the way. So I go around, the other street that is called Revolution Street. And in Revolution Street, I get really good video. I'm like, wow, this is good. I will do it. There was, Ángeles Sin Fronteras, right there.
Angels Without Borders. You interviewed Sergio Tamay.
Yes. And there was Chema right there also. And they had all flags that they were, against Trump. Trump is horrible. Trump is this, Trump is that. And they were all migrants. And I get there and I said like this guy, I'm going to get him. Because he's always like, no, migrants. I'm like, all right, I'm going to get you with stats. So I get in front of his face and I start interviewing him and I start making him uncomfortable and he starts speaking up and I make him more uncomfortable so he can speak up more. Now you make him more uncomfortable so he can speak up more and more. So he let out everything. And then after he let out everything, he said like, I'm going to leave you, Blue, because I got to keep walking. So they were going, Revolution Avenue is like this. And the other avenue that goes like this is 3rd Avenue. Mm-hmm. So in the next corner, they were going to turn to go directly where this woman was at that I did not know. So as they are walking, I get a phone call by my moderator, and she says, Oscar, this woman is crazy. She's arguing with 3 old ladies over here. Get over here and pull her out. I'm like, which woman? She's like, Paloma. She's right here in the middle. I'm like, ¿En qué problema se metió? I thought like, in what mess that she got into? No, she's gonna get into more mess. She's fighting with like old people and like indigenous people and there was a couple of drunk guys right there. And I'm like, okay, I'm going over there. After all the attacks that I've been going through, I said, okay, I'll go over there.
For what?
So I go over there, and for me to tell you guys before, because she started calling me, she started making memes that this is you when you are in a fight and there's a puppet with eyes like this, and there's a lot of puppets over there, and there's, I'm like right in the back. If you're hearing me, woman, For me to get into a fight right here, I'm registered still as a professional boxer. If I hurt somebody with my hands, I can go directly to jail. It's considered an arma blanca. I don't know how to say it in English.
It's called a white weapon. There are similar laws here in the United States for any professional fighter. I had a friend that was a professional fighter, and he frequently talked about the fact that your hands are basically registered as weapons because of the
Yes.
skill set that you have. So you can't willy-nilly be getting into skirmishes or fights because you go directly to jail for that.
Yes, and in Mexico, they're really punishable with that.
Mm-hmm.
They are really punishable. And knowing that, I know all the boxing community over here, believe me, my trainer will be the first one to tell me you're going to jail.
Yeah.
He will be the first one. So I get there and I immediately see this woman, in the middle of like probably 10 people.
Mm-hmm.
And she is yelling like la, 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 la. And then, Tamay comes in and she gets in front of Tamay and Tamay's like, who are you? Move. And he goes in right in the middle of where all the people are at. But she starts getting a crowd because she's wearing her Trump hat.
Mm-hmm.
This is the way you instigate to be hurt or to be attacked in a way. Because, yes, she was attacked. Somebody pulled her hair. It was an old lady around her 50s. Not old lady, middle age. That people are going to get mad because they call people in 50s old. It's a middle-aged woman that pulled her hair. And there was a guy, instigating.
Mm-hmm.
These guys are paid by the political parties. These guys, what they do is they go and if they see somebody with another political hat from the adversary,
Mm-hmm.
they go and they start instigating. Look, this is what we need to fight against. And everybody starts rounding up, and that is what they do. This guy was doing that. That was his job. I can see, we can see through the lines.
So he points her out, and people start surrounding her and kettling her in.
Yeah, and I started seeing that it was all a fight between women. So I'm like, what am I getting myself into that?
Mm-hmm.
So when I walk over there a little bit, she looks at me and she mad dogs me. She looks at me like this and like, and
She looked you
turns
up, and
around.
she basically looked you up and down and scoffed, eyeballed you and scoffed like,
Yeah, like this guy. So
disgusted
she turns
with
around,
you.
and I'm like, you know what? I was going to go over there to get you out. Now, I'm just, I'm staying right here. So, although she was being surrounded by these people, I'm like, okay, if a man tries to grab her, I'm going to go in there because that's a man trying to hurt a woman.
Right.
So I immediately,
Even
when
after
I grabbed,
everything that she did to you, even after everything that she did, you were ready to save her in the event that a man tried to put his hands on her.
it's I know I'm wrong. I know I'm wrong, but that's just the way I am. It's just my mentality. And I know that I need to be controlled with those kind of situations because in the situation, if I get into a fight, my mentality is not the same as a normal person when they get into a fight. My mentality is a bell just ran, and you need to go at it until you hear the bell or until you hear him knocked out.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why that's how my mentality works now. If I get into a fight,
Right.
so that's why I was pulling out, and I was trying to figure out where was Gene. So I immediately see Gene behind her, as he was there was a lot of guys, no women blocking her
Mm-hmm.
and blocking him. And I moved to this side and I see him and I'm like, what the hell are you doing, bro? Like, you're looking at your woman they threw clamato, they pulled her hair, Everybody's yelling at her like they're insulting her. Like, what the hell are you doing? Pull her out. And I even yelled at him, pull her out. But, there was a lot of noise. So she pulled
Oscar,
out after the clamato.
Oscar,
But,
Oscar, Oscar.
yeah,
Don't you see these people do this for show? She
yes,
wanted to get her hair pulled. She wanted to get her Trump hat taken off. She wanted people to hit her and punch her and all of that. And he did too. That's why he was standing there with his arms crossed watching the whole show, because it's
Cindy,
theater. It's confrontation for effect. That's what they do.
now, yeah, now after, quite some time, I understand what she does now.
Yeah.
That's her whole game, to, create a chaos and to then feel the victim. I got attacked. I'm the victim. Everybody put attention. My knee just scraped. I'm blood. I got blood.
And meanwhile,
So
after she dragged you through the mud and treated you in the worst possible way, stabbed you in the back, basically, you were still going down there to be the gentleman and pull her butt out of a fight.
and
Wow.
and to be honest with you, immediately I called the person that I always called, that is Anthony.
Mm-hmm.
I called him and I said, like, look what this woman is doing, bro. And I flipped the camera and he's like, don't get in there. Don't get in there. Is Gene there? And I'm like, yeah. Man, I don't understand that guy, man. Why is he not pulling her out? So I said, like, I'm not getting in. So immediately a security guard comes in and they move them to another place where she starts arguing with drunk people. These guys were from a lot of them were from guys that they were like from the street, that they live on the street, and they were like two people that they were really drunk. And she was arguing with men. And Gene was right there, and I'm like, my God, man, when is this guy going to understand and learn that what is he doing right now is like, what the hell are you doing? You're putting your woman at risk. Like, that's supposed to be your woman. Like, why are you trying to put her in a predicament that she's going to get hurt or she's going to be pulled so TV Azteca comes in and Televisa comes in and they're like, oh, is this, and this is the expression, I'm sorry, this is the expression that they use, oh, is this loca? Is this crazy woman? Let's get an interview because she's crazy. She's always here and she's causing crazy stuff.
They all know her in Tijuana, don't they? All the press.
For being a scandalous, yes.
Yeah, for being a scandalist.
Yeah, and I think that it was, I don't remember which press it was, but Televisa, they said like, no, he got into his bike and he went away. TV Azteca was there and they were just like looking, I think it was Frontera. And the guy from Frontera just went in there like, oh, what's happening? No, we just got attacked and like, la, la, la. I'm right here representing the president and I'm against the caravans, but I'm representing Trump. And like, okay, but what are you, like, I don't understand. You're representing Trump, but you're in an AMLO rally. What does that mean? Like, where did your representation goes? Like, what is your platform? Like, what are you trying to do? Like, what's your end game to be over here? Like, you're supposed to be fighting the political party. If you're against AMLO, the coyotes, the traffickers, and that particular part in that time, I interviewed Solalinde. That was a potential, trafficker, a priest trafficker for the Morena political party. Like, you're supposed to go to the main heads, not to argue with drunks and with old women. Like, what the hell are you doing? Really, is that you? That's you? That's you? That's your stature? That's where you're trying to get? Like, that's your high quality activism? Like, that is like, wow, my God, oh my God, that is you. Views, oh my God, views, that is you? So I'm like, well, that's her mentality of great work. So after that, she goes on a live feed and she's drunk and she's throwing like horrible left punches at me. So I haven't not even retaliated, not even said anything. And we were talking about it, Anthony and me. We're like, oh man, here we go. The drama is gonna start, bro. Like, oh my God, here we go. And we were like, okay, we're not gonna do anything. We're just gonna keep calm. Tomorrow she's gonna have a hangover. It's not, she's gonna wake up late. She's gonna do another video. Let's see what she says. She did another video again, throwing left punches. Guys, I can't believe people running out of my coattails. This is what I'm fighting for, guys. This is what I'm fighting for. And guys, like, oh my God, guys. Like, I know there's an individual that he was like looking and he was not doing anything, guys. And I was like, guys, like, okay, guys, like, I already know that he's riding on my coattails, guys. And I was like, oh my God, no. And that possibility that I had an idea of a woman that's why I'm saying there is no anger with me, Cindy. Is more of a disappointment because I thought that she had the capacity and the capability to do excellent activist work in a positive manner.
So, what have we all learned today? Because, some lessons come at a great expense. And I want to say two things. First of all, some things you can't fix. Some things you can't direct them. You can't change them. I know that you really had high hopes. You have invested a lot of time, money, blood, sweat, tears, and literally put your life and your safety on the line in order to do the work that you do. And you've tried to help everyone you've met along the way because that's the kind of person that you are. But you can't help everyone and you can't fix everything. That's number one. Number two, there are a lot of people, and I've heard you apologize. You're a very humble man. I appreciate that about you. But a lot of people that I've talked to, they've said to me, Cindy, I feel terrible, and I know a lot of people are angry at me because I was trying to help Paloma, and she was my friend, and I knew there were some strange things about her, but I still wanted to give her my support, and I still wanted to help her. And now,
hell no, I am not going to do that. Hell no.
And a lot of these folks have told me, I feel really bad because I know there's a lot of people angry with me. I know there's a lot of people angry with me because I was friends with Paloma, and she was hurting other people. She was making memes about people, or she was stalking people, and somehow people feel that I'm partially responsible for giving her support at any time. To all of you who have said that to yourselves, including you, Oscar, that have told people on this very interview today how sorry you are for if you were wrong or if you were rude, you apologize to all of those women. You've apologized to your followers and to your supporters. And Anthony even talked about how you've had to block or ban or censor some comments or some people from your page in the course of all of this. But do you now that you have hindsight and the distance of time between everything that happened and today, do you now understand how this person operates and why you can't fix it and you can't change it? Do you get that
Yes.
now?
Yes, of course, absolutely. Absolutely, I know how she operates. That was one of the things that I come out right now to talk about cyberbullying and to talk about stalking and harassing. I don't know, she is addicted to this. She likes this. She loves this. She lives through this. And, in me, in my particular opinion, the hell out of here, really. I don't ever want to see you again. You really think that you are really smart. You really think that you're really smart. Pero a mí no me haces menso, chilanga. No. Hell no. Tú sabes qué onda. And, I have always been, always measure myself. Always measure myself to not speak out and to not speak up. And never said nothing. Never said nothing. I was remaining quiet, and you always throwing every single day with your fake pages and your third parties. And I'm like, wow, man, this woman does not stop. Does not stop. Because I'm keep going. I'm a warrior blue, and I'm going to destroy everybody. And I know your end game. Your end game is to be, you really want to be famous. That's your obsession. You really want to be famous. You're dying to be that person that shines and like, oh my God, when you met the president, yeah, I'm right here and you guys are over there. Like, oh my God, like you are that individual. You are that individual. You're dying to be that person. And for me, that's not me. I don't want that. And because I know how you operate, that every time that there's a movement that is trying to work, and people that are trying to do good for society, for community, for a country, for a political party, an individual and their families, you like to get in there and divide. That's you. Ese eres tú. Ese es tu rollo. That's you. All day, every day. That's you. You're not happy with your life. I want to get in there and divide. I want to divide them because I'm not happy with mine. That's all you. And every day is going to be like that for you. So I pray that one day you don't change, because you're never going to change. But I pray that God helps you. Really. That's the only thing that I can do for you. I can pray that God will help you one day and make you realize that you're wrong, but you're stubborn. Your ego is like, big. Until you don't let that out, you're going to be exactly the same. And I'm going to tell you one thing, just for you to listen, because I'm not going to come out again and do another video of this. Never again. But you're always about numbers. Check your numbers. Check your numbers right now. Because of what you're doing, with all respect, because you're a woman, I will tell you something. You're becoming that person that is irrelevant. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think that that is a really, really important lesson that I don't think that she's ever learned, but that we have seen across all of the victims that she had. Her insatiable thirst to destroy, to hurt, to ridicule, to attack, to and this is not just on social media. This is a woman who mistreats the animals that she cares for, according to what Mary was able to observe, who mistreated a disabled adult that she videotaped herself doing, who crossed the line with your child and a whole bunch of other people's children. This is a person who will go to extreme lengths, including physically stalking people, to terrorize other human beings, and to her own detriment, because she lost her pages. Her pages have been reported. Her pages are being taken down. And as you've said, she has become irrelevant. But I want to, from the bottom of my heart, and I know that every other victim that has been out there thanks you as well for having the courage to come forward, to break the silence, and to set the record straight. I want to give you the last word, Oscar. Thank you for being here once again from the bottom of my heart. And hopefully we'll have you on, of course, to talk about your reporting in Tijuana very soon.
Thank you. Cyberbullying is a problem. Cyberbullying needs to be stopped. And cyberbullying is becoming a problem right now. The social media is really important for society. Cyberbullying, it can lead to suicide, it can lead to death, it can lead to depression, and it can lead to, destroying your complete life. And there are people that love cyberbullying. There are people, they love to be bullies, and behind a desk, behind a phone, and behind situations like that. I know what this individual is going to do now. She's going to completely attack me, bring guests into a live show, talk about, whatever subject that she's going to try to talk about, and going to try to trigger me or destroy me. She hasn't done that, and she hasn't accomplished that to me. So, we need to wake up in terms of cyberbullying, not because of this particular individual. Because that you're watching right now, if you're suffering from cyberbullying, this is your time to just end this and be courageous and step up and say, stop cyberbullying. We need to stop this and no more of this. God bless you all. Thank you so much, Cindy, for giving me your platform for some moments. Laughing emoji, I see you, and I see it is burning. If it's burning, if it burns, put a bucket of ice.
Yeah, you're going to need some ointment for that. But again, I think that the best disinfectant is light. And that's how we're going to expose this and every other bully and every other phony, every other oppressor out there that we uncover on a Mexican Crossing Lines. Thanks so much for being with us tonight for the interview with Oscar El Blue Ramirez, BNN reporter, Border Network News. Follow them. Find them on Facebook. You also have a YouTube channel. Before we go, tell folks, how can they follow you and find your work, Oscar?
You can find us in our platforms. I will do first my partner. You can find Conservative Anthony at Facebook as Conservative Anthony. Also follow him at TikTok. This TikTok thing, man, is really addictive. Also, you can follow him. You can follow him as Conservative Anthony on Instagram and also on Twitter. Also, you can follow me at exactly the same platforms, but join my YouTube channel. Follow me at YouTube as we do super chats every now and then. And just for everybody to know, I will be taking probably a week off, probably a week or 2 weeks off. It's been a really exhausting trip. We did a really hard investigation on this trip. It was phenomenal investigation. It was great, but the three of us were really tired. We were really tired. We walked through mountains, we walked through jungles, and it was exhausting. So for everybody that's watching, I will take probably a week off to get ready the documentary that I will put out for you guys about how international industries are helping Mexican people, and also the situation at the border. So thank you so much. God bless you, Cindy. Thank you so much. Duke is going to be a doozy, Duke says. God bless you, Cindy. I send you a big hug to both of you.
Thank you so much, Oscar. Right back at you, and have a great evening, everyone. Thank you for being with us.
Yeah, thank you.